And welcome to another edition of Pop It. It's a pop culture game show where I bring on people to talk about pop culture. They give their opinions, their jokes, their spicy takes, and then I give them points. It's subjective. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is my hashtag rich friends joining me this week. I'm so excited. Brendan, who's been on before, and I believe has won a game back to play. I'm so excited. You've not? Oh, ooh, never mind. So no winners here today. We have Joanna, who I love. We just went to 5 and below the other day, so I'm excited to see her takes on these 5 topics.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that was a really bad dad joke. I apologize. And also joining us is, I think when I think of people that I know who know what they're talking about in terms of pop culture, Haley's got to be up there. I'm so excited she's joining us, and I'm sure she has some spicy takes today too. And hello to everyone out there except for DaBaby. So going on, shots fired already. Our first topic, oh boy, American Horror Story. They brought back the Rubber Man in their new season. Do we love it? Is American Horror Story just kind of seen its course? Is Ryan Murphy just too much to handle? Brendan, I think we should start with you because I know this is a hot topic for you. So your 30 seconds start now.
Okay, so the girl that looks like Tomb Raider in it, I think she's so hot. And the 2 gay actors in the show literally are 2 of my favorite actors of all time. I'm trying not to get too much away about it, but it's so scandalous that I wish that they could make an actual season out of the first 2 episodes that they made. As in terms of the other episodes that they had filmed, I really don't like them as much, but Murder House will always have a special place in my heart. But yes.
Awesome. I think because Brennan, you definitely want to try that suit on, don't you?
My ass is too fat, so.
Someone's like, oh my God, who's the rubber guy? And they're like, oh, it's Brendan because it's busting out in the back. All right, Joanna, your take on American Horror Story, the new season, Rubber Man's back. What do we think?
I agree, with Brendan. The house will always have a special place in my heart. So sorry, my dog is crying also. She has a lot to say about it. Cleo, shh. Anyways, but I kind of wish that I love that they're doing a whole new story with the murder house, but I wish they would have done or expanded on other things that they've already done in the murder house, because there's so much that has gone on there, and I wish they could have completed some of those things that I have questions about, and Cleo obviously has a lot to say about it.
I love how poor Cleo is like, it sucks. Oh, I hate it in the background.
My mom made me watch this.
Haley, American Horror Story, Rubber is back in season, or are we out of season on this one?
So I've actually not watched the new season, but I did watch Murder House, so I know exactly what it is. But I read an article, and I think that it's an interesting take on kind of an old favorite of, I don't know, I guess fans of American Horror Story. That's kind of what they started with. They started with a bang. It's one of the most iconic characters. Really scared the shit out of me when I was in high school. So I think they did a great job bringing it back. I think Ryan Murphy is so great. I can't believe it's the same person who did Glee, but that's just my take on it.
We have a lot of messy queens on this call right now, but there is none messier than Ryan Murphy herself. So
very true.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. It's on my to-do list. But I have to agree with Joanna. Every season they're back at that damn house. It's can we not go? I get that they want to oh, it's continuous and it's so scary and here's the house here and there and
in this house.
Yeah. We get it. Just burn the house down. Also, who's the neighbor who's letting all this shit happen? Burn the house down. Yeah. Where's the city? I know my city condemns me if my lawn's more than 6 inches of grass. So where's the city saying enough's enough?
It's probably a historical landmark at this point, so they can't tear it down.
Honestly, if I could be any character from that show, it would be that blonde bitch who, the mean one. I feel like that would be me for sure.
Which one?
There's 40.
The bully that filmed them, the girls kissing.
Oh, from the episode. You're talking about the episode.
Oh, haven't seen it.
Yeah,
so
I'm clueless.
I was my mind went straight to either Jessica Lange or Sarah Paulson. I was like, which one?
That's my
Poor Sarah Paulson, always screaming. All right. Speaking of something to scream about, Matt Damon says that he's retiring using the F word. Matt Damon, it's 2021. Why are you still saying the F word? Apparently his daughter was very upset and wrote like a whole thing to Matt Damon to stop using the F word. And then Matt's like, well, I wasn't using it, which is then like, well, then what's the whole point of this story? This is another messy queen. Haley, back to you. What do we think about this whole situation?
I think it's a common theme now that children are having to educate their own parents about slurs that were used that, you know, they say they had no common knowledge, like, oh, I didn't mean it, like that's just how we used to say it, but it's always had the same meaning. I mean, I could go on about this forever about, you know, parents using other racial slurs that should not be used if, you know, you have no business saying it. But I think we haven't seen the end of it. Kids are going to continue to influence their parents and teach their parents about any kind of slur.
I love that take. That's your time. Joanna, Matt Damon with the F word, 2021. What do we think?
So I read the article about this, and I thought it was really interesting, his use of the word retire. Like, oh, I'm going to retire this word. It's like, that's such an odd way to put it, because it makes it seem like that word did some good, or that word like actually was used in a positive way, which like obviously it never has been. So yeah, I find that very odd, the way that he's like, oh, whoopsies, like I'm sorry, and then like try to go like, oh, but my daughter's really awesome. I mean, like she, like, you know, Haley was saying like, oh, my daughter's so great though that she corrected me. So yeah, I applaud her for correcting him and like standing up and saying, but I know, even though it's 2021 and people have put so much effort into trying to do better and stuff like that, but it's still, unfortunately, there's a lot of work.
That's your time. Brendan, my fellow gay on the line, retiring the F word. What do you think about this whole Matt Damon shabacle?
So honestly, coming from someone who like he has lived in Hollywood for a large portion of his life, he should know better. And the fact that he is making this like public statement being like, we should first of all, I thought he was talking about fuck. And I was like, honestly, I feel like someone has some tea on him, that maybe he had recently said something that would have caused him to just be public about being like, we should not say this word. Like, come on, you literally are like the face of Hollywood. Or honestly, I don't know, last time he was wasn't he Backstreet Boys or something? I don't know. Last time that he actually was in something. Or wasn't he Green Lantern?
I don't think any of that is right.
Oh, okay, then I don't know who Matt Damon is. Matt Damon. Anyway, I think someone has some tea on.
That's your time. Oh my Lord, that's gonna be in the trailer for sure. I think I love Joanna's point about like the retire, because when I think of the word retire, it's like, oh, Gladys is 70 and she's retiring from work today. All her great service, and she retired. Like, it's just not a weird word, and like, I don't know, it just makes it sound like he was using it like casually and nonchalant, and it's like, dude. And I agree with Brendan.
That like worked, and like now it doesn't. When it never worked.
Like, you're out at the barbecue, like, hey, F, go get the steaks. Like, what is like?
Yes, Daddy.
I don't like the implication that it sounds like he was using it. And I, you know, Brendan's right. Who cares what he's done, who he's been? Was he part of NSYNC? Was he in the Iron Man? Who cares? We're over it. So Matt Damon
what has Matt Damon been in?
The Mission Impossible movies? Was that him?
That's Tom Cruise.
Moving on. Paramount Pictures has pulled the planned September 17th release of its live-action Clifford the Big Red Dog movie over concerns of the Delta variant. Is that the biggest concern that movie should be facing? Is this good marketing or business? Were we excited to see this movie, and now we're bummed that we're going to have to wait it out for Clifford the Big Red Dog? Brendan, we'll start with you on the Clifford situation.
Honestly, when I first heard about that, I thought that it was something that may have been like derived from The Onion. I'm like, there's no freaking way that they made a movie on Clifford the dog. And then I saw it. I'm like, this is terrifying. Like, this has to be fake. Like, this is like some Stephen King, like, or like Goosebumps. Like, I literally have no words because I really don't care about it. I mean, Clifford should retire.
Clifford was caught saying the F word.
Bring Clifford to a shelter. Bring him to an Amazon warehouse or something. Hide him away.
An Amazon warehouse.
On an Amazon warehouse, please.
Okay, does he really deserve that punishment?
No.
Yes. Oh my God, you know the destruction that he caused Emily Elizabeth in the town of Narnia, wherever the hell they're from?
They are not in the town of Narnia. I can tell you that. Joanna, please.
I'd much rather watch the Backyardigans.
The Backyardigans. Okay.
Oh God.
Joanna, I know you love dogs, but is this one dog that you love or?
I kind of agree with Brendan, not, trying to be too harsh, but I really don't think that when they're going to release it is going to change how many people see it. It's a very specific audience that this movie is going towards. And I don't think that us adults are going to be nostalgic and go see this movie. Like, I was in the theaters for Finding Dory. I was, but I really have no interest in seeing. So I think, if that's what they think they want, if that's what they feel is best to keep everybody safe, great.
Awesome. And last but not least, Haley, Clifford the Big Red Dog, is this a tree that you're barking up, or are we not barking up that tree?
Definitely not. Coming from a big Clifford the Big Red Dog stan, I would not go and see this. That Clifford was frightening, to say the least. It was so scary, did not look anything like the cartoon. The cartoon was cute and friendly. This dog looked like borderline Godzilla. It was so scary. It was so bad. And I get that they're trying to be safe for COVID, but I have to agree with Joanna that no matter how long they kind of waited out, I don't think anyone's really gonna be too heartbroken about it.
That's your time. I gotta say, the biggest messes this year has been the CW Powerpuff Girls reboot, and then this. I mean, first of all, the cartoon, like Haley said, it's phenomenal. We all love them. This one, you're just like, oh my God, what's that pet insurance like? What happens when that big dog has to take a dump? What if he's trying to hump the neighbor and like kills the neighbor? I mean, these are questions that I think you're like, oh my God.
Where would he go to the bathroom?
I don't want to clean that up.
He would do the same thing that all the Amazon warehouse workers do and just poop in the packages.
What is that with Amazon?
What's
we are really coming for Matt Damon, Amazon, and Clifford today. Joanna, I think, again, had the best point for me today on this. She's like, this whole idea, like, okay, why are we postponing it? Like, it's not like the whole world's like, oh my God, Clifford's in studio. It's going to be like kids with their moms and dads. And yeah, I agree. I don't think it's worth postponing this. They could have just kept it, but we'll see. So I guess next year we're gonna get drunk and we're gonna watch Clifford next year. So that's the plan. Meanwhile, oh my God, this is another spicy one. Scarlett Johansson is saying no Hansen to Disney for faulting on her contract. So apparently in her contract, part of it was that the movie would go into theaters. And she says that by putting it on Disney Plus the same day as theaters, they messed up her contract options. And Emma Stone, who recently started Cruella, was like, "Oh, I might need to follow this." I think is ScarJo making points? What do we think on this? Haley, back to you.
I don't know. I think that she obviously has a right, as she signed a contract. She clearly works very hard. And Black Widow, come on, it's going to make a lot of money. It's not, I know that they all worked very hard on it. So she deserves to get paid. And I know that they get paid when it's in theaters and not streaming. So I think that they need to kind of work a deal together to, I don't know, maybe be able to have her get her same money when it's only streaming. But,
That's your time.
I don't
Joanna, are you pro ScarJo or pro Disney in this upcoming legal battle?
Ooh, this is a hard one for me because I feel like I'm not educated or aware enough of this industry to really know kind of like who's in the right here. Like obviously if she has whatever her contract is, they need to do that. But streaming is the now and streaming is the future. So like either way, like that's how we watch our movies now. So she needs to either figure it out or Disney needs to be able to give her the pay that she was contracted for. So I don't know. I mean, I think that streaming is not going anywhere. So she's got to figure that out.
Brendan, Scarlett Johansson, she's taking Mickey Mouse to the courtroom. What do we think?
Honestly, I think she should have called it quits after she played Rose in the Titanic. Like, I really am not a big fan of Scarlett Johansson. I really don't care. She's really pretty, but the thing is, at the end of the day, it comes down to whatever the contract says. So if Disney went against the contract, then get your money. I hope she gets a lot of money from Disney too, because Disney, like, that for the amount of like what they're like charging people to buy freaking ornaments and t-shirts at like in Lemonade at Disney, like they can afford to pay her money. And if I were her, at the end of the day, after I get my money, I'm no more Disney at all. I would never want to be in a Disney thing again.
Yeah. I gotta say, when Disney's best legal defense is, girl, it's COVID. Like, sorry, that's not a great legal defense. I mean, it's kind of admitting that, like, oh, maybe we messed up.
Close your parks then. Close your parks.
And number two, what gay intern didn't like hit up ScarJo being like, hey, girl, we're gonna put on Disney Plus the same day. Can we redo this contract? Like, what oversight? Like, you guys are a giant billion company who owns like ABC and Trader Joe's and Coca-Cola, and no one thought, this contract should be redone if we're going to release it the same day. Like, I'm not trying to be the business bitch. I'm not Mindy Kaling from The Office, but I mean, come on, like 101. And you know what?
One of their like 500,000 lawyers that I'm sure they have working around the clock. Not one of them could have given Scarlett Johansson a call.
No. And it makes you wonder too with the boys, you know, like, so do these ladies have to sign their contracts that their salary is based on how the movie does? Are the boys doing that? Because I'm sure we would have heard about someone already, you know, all this streaming and shenanigans. So I don't know. I got my eyes peeled. I think they're going to settle outside of court because Disney does not want this press. I'll tell you that, because it's not magically after ever if they have to go to court on this one. Last but not least, speaking of more movie stuff, the House of Gucci trailer dropped. Adam Driver, Al Pacino, Lady Gaga looks amazing. She sounds amazing. Jared Leto is a choice. Are we ready for this film? Is this going to be a snooze fest? Are we just concerned about Jared Leto? Brendan, back to you.
Okay, so Gucci is my favorite designer, and Lady Gaga is one of my favorite singers of all time. So I know this movie is going to make freaking bank. I really think that, like, I'd much rather see that over Clifford the Big Red Dog and Black Widow, whatever the hell Scarlett Johansson movie is. Like, I 100% will go see House of Gucci over and over and over again, maybe like 4 or 5 times. Am I gonna cry? Yes. Have I cried already in the trailer? Yes. But honestly, to me, I feel like it would be better if it were released on Netflix than in theaters, just because with the Delta variant and everything going on, it's gonna get worse during the cold and flu season. So I think that they may have to push for later, like, release date or something like that.
Absolutely. Joanna, what did you think of the trailer?
Ooh, I'm kind of with Brendan here. I am obsessed with Lady Gaga. I could, care less about Gucci. Like, Gucci's cool and everything, but if Lady Gaga's in it, I'm gonna want to see it. And I think she kind of is making this film for me. If she wasn't in it, I honestly wouldn't care less, and maybe I would go see it if my friends wanted to see it. But after watching the trailer, it looks awesome, and I think Lady Gaga, like you said, looks hot. I think she looks amazing, and I think she could make this film.
Absolutely. And closing us out, Haley, House of Gucci, are you in this house, or is this house going to come down?
I'm so in. I really am. I am so for the stream of like designer documentary movies that are coming out. The Versace one that was a couple of years ago was so good. The one I just watched was Halston with Aaron McGregor. I think that, yeah. It looked so good. I know Lady Gaga is an amazing actress. Circling back to American Horror Story, that's my favorite season in Hotel. Incredible. I'm so excited to see her. And Adam Driver, I'm obsessed with him. So I think they're really going to kill it.
Yeah, I think she looked good. The Jared Leto, I'm like, please only be in this movie for 10 minutes, Jared. I couldn't deal with he was like, Mamma mia, the pizza's spicy in the Gucci. And I'm like, that's not a real Italian accent.
To be completely honest, I feel like these movies that have come out on like Netflix, or the documentaries, whatever, about like the designers coming out on Netflix, and like, I feel like it would be a lot better if it were on Netflix. Because when I first saw the poster, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be like the Gianni Versace, like documentary. And then Haley was the one that told me that it was on Netflix or in theaters. I'm like, God damn it. But yeah,
we'll see what happens. I'm curious if they're gonna like transition.
Everything that Lady Gaga has been in recently, or like what American Horror Story, whatever that Star is Born, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely excited. I think the trailer, the only thing about the trailer that bugged me was like they were flashing all those like love, sex, scandal, loyalty, betrayal, vice, value, fashion, designer, glitter, diamonds. I'm like, that's a lot of words. Just pick 5 of those words. Don't flash all these words.
And I don't know about you guys, but from now on, I'm going to say Father, Son, House of Gucci. That's all I'm going to say.
Amen.
That's my religion.
Amen, baby.
Haute couture is religion.
Also, I did like the line, I'm not an ethical person, but I am fair. And I was like, oh. So,
and all right. Father, Son, Lady Gaga.
Yeah, that's how we're going to close out today. Here we go. Here's the points. Brendan, 28 points. Haley, wait, did I say 28, Brendan?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I didn't screw it up.
I knew I lost.
House of Gucci. Haley with 28 points. So they're both 28. And Joanna with 29. Joanna won! You had some such good points today. You picked some stuff that I didn't even think about. And I'm like, oh my God, what good points. So your spin, your perspective today, you popped it, baby. Congrats.
So she gets to be on next week.
Yeah, you'll have to be on next time. Although the 3 of you, I think we're gonna have to do like some special like once a month, the 3 of you, because
you know what? You should do like a Wendy Williams thing where you can have like an audience in the background.
What are you talking about?
How do you have an audience in the background on Zoom?
You pass out on camera.
You guys are just like. My gosh. Okay.
I'm so happy. Good job.
You guys, thank you so much for joining me. What another spicy Mamma Mia edition of Pop It. And, stay safe, Matt Damon. We don't care. DaBaby, you're still canceled. All right. Have a good night.